The city of Los Angeles never truly slept. Even at 3 a.m., neon lights glowed above empty sidewalks, distant sirens echoed between skyscrapers, and dreams floated invisibly in the warm California air. Some dreams were big and loud, chasing fame and fortune. Others were small and quiet, tucked carefully inside fragile hearts. 17-year-old Noah Carter carried one of those quiet dreams. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He wasn't even sure if he was good enough. But he had something that refused to die inside him, a voice. Noah lived in a tiny apartment near downtown Los Angeles with his mother. The paint peeled from the walls, and the elevator in their building hadn't worked in years. His mother worked double shifts at a local diner, coming home exhausted but always smiling when she saw him. "You sang today," she would ask every evening. And Noah would always nod. He had been singing since he was 5 years old. Not because someone told him to. Not because he wanted applause. But because music made the world quieter. When he sang, the chaos disappeared. The bills, the rent notices, the judgment, the fear, everything faded. At school, though, things were different. Noah wasn't popular. He wasn't the star athlete or the class clown. He was the quiet kid who carried headphones and scribbled lyrics in the corners of his notebooks. Some students called him dreamer. Others called him worse. "Why don't you get a real hobby?" One boy once laughed when he heard Noah humming in the hallway. "Bro thinks he's the next big superstar," another mocked. Noah would smile weakly and walk away. But at night, those words echoed louder than any applause ever could. Still, he kept singing. Every Saturday evening, he took the bus to Santa Monica Pier. Tourists crowded the boardwalk, street performers entertained strangers, and the ocean breeze carried music in every direction. That was where Noah felt free. He didn't have fancy equipment. Just a second-hand guitar with chipped edges and a small speaker that sometimes crackled. He would set up near a lamp post, take a deep breath, and begin. The first few minutes were always the hardest. People walked past without looking. Some stared briefly, then moved on. A few dropped coins without stopping. But then it happened. A little girl tugged her father's hand and stopped to listen. A couple paused mid-conversation. A woman holding coffee slowed her steps. Noah's voice wasn't just sound. It was emotion. He sang about struggle, about hope, about nights when everything feels impossible but you wake up anyway. His voice carried something raw, something real. And slowly, a small crowd would form. Noah never looked at the money in the guitar case while he sang. For him, it wasn't about dollars. It was about being heard. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky orange and purple, something unexpected happened. A man in a dark jacket stood still in the crowd longer than anyone else. He didn't clap. He didn't smile. He just listened carefully, arms crossed. After Noah finished, the crowd applauded politely and began to scatter. The man stepped forward. "What's your name?" he asked calmly. "Noah," he replied, gripping his guitar. "You write that song?" "Yes, sir." The man studied him for a moment. "You've got something." Noah had heard that before. From friends. From his mother. But this felt different. The man handed him a small card. "If you're serious about music, call this number." And then he walked away. Noah stared at the card for a long time. It had a name he recognized, Daniel Brooks, talent manager. That night, Noah didn't sleep. Was this real, or just another false hope? The next morning, he showed his mother the card. She read it, slowly. Then she looked at him with eyes full of belief. "You call. What if it's nothing?" Noah whispered. "What if it's everything?" She replied. So he called. A week later, Noah found himself standing outside a modest recording studio in Hollywood. His hands were shaking. Doubt tried to creep in. "You don't belong here." But he walked inside anyway. The audition room was simple. A microphone, a piano, a few people sitting behind a table. Daniel Brooks was there. "Noah," Daniel said. "Ready?" Noah nodded, though he wasn't sure he was. "What will you sing?" "An original." There was silence as he stepped up to the microphone. He closed his eyes. And he sang. He sang about his mother's tired hands. About being invisible at school. About standing on a pier hoping someone might listen. His voice cracked once, but he didn't stop. When he finished, the room was quiet. One of the judges leaned forward. "That wasn't perfect," she said. Noah's heart sank. But it was honest. Daniel smiled slightly. And honesty is rare. They didn't promise fame. They didn't promise millions. But they offered him something real, mentorship. Studio time. A chance. For months, Noah trained harder than ever before. Vocal lessons, songwriting workshops, stage presence coaching. Some days he felt unstoppable. Other days he felt like quitting. There were setbacks. A small showcase where hardly anyone showed up. A song release that barely got views online. Negative comments on social media. You're average. Nothing special. This industry will eat you alive. Each comment felt like a weight. But each time he thought about giving up, he remembered his mother watching him from the edge of the pier, clapping louder than anyone else. One night, after a disappointing performance, Noah sat alone in the studio. "Maybe they're right," he said quietly when Daniel walked in. Daniel didn't respond immediately. "Do you know how many talented people quit?" he finally said. "Talent opens the door, but persistence keeps it open." Noah looked at the microphone in front of him. He realized something important. Talent wasn't just about a beautiful voice. It was about courage. The courage to show up when no one believes in you. The courage to sing when your voice shakes. The courage to keep going when the world scrolls past you. So he kept going. Months later, Daniel entered Noah into a national televised talent competition. Noah panicked. "I'm not ready." "No one ever is," Daniel replied. The night of the show arrived faster than expected. Bright lights, huge stage, cameras everywhere, a live audience, millions watching from home. Backstage, Noah felt small. Contestants around him had powerful vocals, flashy outfits, confident smiles. He wore simple jeans and a plain jacket. When his name was called, his legs felt weak. He stepped onto the stage. The lights blinded him for a moment. Then the music started. He wasn't singing for fame. He wasn't singing for judges. He was singing for the 17-year-old boy who once stood alone on Santa Monica Pier, hoping someone would listen. His voice filled the auditorium, stronger than ever before. It wasn't flawless. It was human. When he finished, there was silence. Then applause. Then a standing ovation. One judge wiped away a tear. "You reminded us why music matters," she said. That performance went viral overnight. Clips flooded social media. Millions of views. Messages poured in from strangers around the world. "I felt that. You gave me hope. Don't stop." Noah sat in his small apartment reading those messages in disbelief. The boy who had once been invisible was now being heard across the country. The competition lasted weeks. He faced eliminations, pressure, expectations. Each round pushed him further. He didn't win first place. He came second. For a moment, disappointment hit him hard. So close. But when he walked off stage, the audience was still chanting his name. Record labels called. Streaming numbers climbed. Concert offers came in. Second place didn't feel like losing. It felt like beginning. A year later, Noah stood on a much larger stage, this time headlining his own concert in Los Angeles. The crowd stretched farther than he could see. Before singing his final song, he paused. "I used to sing on a pier hoping someone would stop walking," he told the audience. "Tonight, you all stopped." Cheers erupted. His mother stood in the front row, tears streaming down her face. Noah realized something powerful in that moment. Talent is a gift, but belief is the fuel. Without belief, talent stays hidden. Without courage, talent stays silent. Without persistence, talent fades. Noah's journey wasn't perfect. He still faced criticism. He still had bad days. He still doubted himself sometimes. But he no longer questioned whether he belonged. Because he understood that talent isn't about being the best in the room. It's about being brave enough to share your truth. And somewhere, in another small apartment, another quiet teenager was watching Noah's performance on a phone screen. Holding a guitar, wondering if they were good enough. And maybe, just maybe, finding the courage to sing. The city of Los Angeles still doesn't sleep. But now, sometimes, when the night is quiet, you can hear Noah Carter's voice drifting through the air, not just as music, but as proof. Proof that talent, when combined with heart, persistence, and belief, can turn even the quietest dream into something the whole world hears. And it all started with a boy who refused to stop singing.